It's a kind of a scarifying situation, and they're prepared to do so. And I want to say, to follow up on something you said, Alex Murdaugh may be the worst human on earth.
Right.
Probably not the worst, and he may very well be very guilty. But what they believe, and the reason they came forward, is that they believe even he deserves a fair trial.
And you know, I've said this before, the evidence against Alex Murdaugh was substantial. In my mind, it was very clear he murdered his family. But I've always said this in very high profile cases and cases where the crimes are absolutely heinous. It's even that more important to get it right, so that there is not a situation where there's a retrial, and you want to make sure you do it right. And that's for justice for the victims. It's also...
Hey everybody, Crime and Cask coming at you. So, this is on the Law and Crime Network. And Jesse says, well, listen, he's overwhelming evidence. I believe he did it. Okay. Now, I've heard this from Jesse. I've heard this from Vinnie Politan. I've heard it from Eric Bland. I've heard it from Will Folks. Now, Jesse. But here, I'm here to tell you that everybody who has said this, okay, everybody, I have challenged, not as I'm going to show you and I'll show you, I'm not into that, as a challenge to sit down with me and talk to me about the evidence that you believe is overwhelming. Because what do I know about it? I mean, I did write a best-selling book called Defending Alex Murdaugh, Not Guilty by Reasonable Doubt. And I have 32 chapters dedicated to evidence. Overwhelming evidence that proves he didn't do it. There's number one. Number two, got one coming out by Juror 785. Another book, Crime and Cask, because enough is enough. Well, that one goes into more detail about evidence and details about a lot of things that you'll find out on August 27th when it comes out for sale on Amazon. And you can buy it in hard copy and paperback one. But in 2 books now, Crime and Cask, okay. I have talked about the evidence. I have 60,000 people on this app. And if you're one of them, feel free to chime in. Chime in the comments. But I have 60,000 fans on this app who believe that he did not do it. But I'm sure there's going to be some on here that did do. Okay? I'm not saying there's not. But it's the evidence. I have been to Moselle. I have done experiments. Extensive experiments. I have written about these experiments. I have performed them over and over again. I have taken people like Tori Branham and went out to Moselle and did these experiments with her so she could see it for herself. And she saw the same thing I did. So, Jesse, you want to go through the evidence? I would be happy to. In a very cordial conversation, of let's just go through the evidence. Let's get out my book and let's start at chapter 1 and go through 32. Let's start at this one and go through it. The point is that there's overwhelming evidence to show that he didn't do it. Now, you're going to say, well, jury of his peers said that he did. Yes, they did. And this one will explain all about that one. So, are you ready to talk? If so, contact me at crimeandcast.com, where you can read all about our news that we have there about South Carolina, read about our books, get an autographed copy. A lot of things to do at crimeandcast.com. Go check it out. Get a hold of me. Let's talk about the evidence by Alex Murdaugh, because Alex Murdaugh being guilty gets a lot of clicks, gets a lot of views. Alex Murdaugh being not guilty is going to blow it up. We'll see you. Crime and Cask out.